What do you wish you could have said that we didn't cover?
When you do these kind of talks, and you become more passionate as you go along, you want to say the things that infuriate you. You want to see the changes that can be made. And so the longer you talk with him and I, the more impassioned it gets.
So what are you impassioned about?
I'm impassioned about changing some things. I'm tired of picking these kids out of the street. I mean, it's incredible. There's nothing scarier than the death wail of a mother who finds her child laying dead in the street. You can't put that fire out. It just resonates in your ears over and over and over again.
What did you want to say that you didn't get a chance to say?
There's just so much to that. Like he said, is picking them out of the street. While he's picking them out of the street, I'm preaching the funerals of these kids in the coffin. At the end of the day, it's not designed for parents to have to bury their kids. I mean, come on now, 12, 15-year-old child.
Is this a deep, deep, deep passion for you?
Absolutely. We're not going nowhere.
We're
just expanding.
Are what you're doing changing lives?
We've already seen a bunch get back in school, start getting plugged into some jobs, even start to mentor others. So we're already seeing that impact, and it's only going to get larger.
Are you making a difference?
I would like to think I am, Keith, but these aren't the kinds of things that are evidence-based immediately. You might not know till years down the street how a kid turned around. I'm often stopped in the street. Hey, they call me Branson. Branson, you saved my life. And all I did was try and set them on the right path. And years after they get out of prison, you save their life. A lot of times when they go to prison, you actually save their life. You have to interrupt what's going on at that particular time.
But sometimes they say the prison. Did you do time in prison?
I did just jail time, regular Lake County jail, not prison. I've got guys with me that's done, 17 years to 22-year bids for murder, and they speak to these kids and reach back out there to prevent them from going down that path, because a lot of laws are even tighter these days, where they're pretty much, their lives are burnt up at such a young age.
I hear that the jails and the prisons are a worse climate for the gang activity than sometimes the streets.
When they go to jails, they're getting desensitized, or they go in there and it's basically you pretty much transfer to that particular section of the gang, or that chapter that's part of that, we'll say Westville, corrections, or Michigan City. You're going to go where if you're Latin King or you're GD, you're going to go to that particular section, and you're going to hold that section or that deck down with your life, just like you would one of the streets corners in the neighborhood.
Interesting. So how'd you guys feel about the show?
Great. It went too fast.
I appreciate the
What do you
opportunity.
think, Robert? You're a...
Yeah.
I mean, here you talk about an article, and what's crazy about it is it was the one that was in there about my organization, and what we put in there.
I oftentimes don't take the time to read those long arguments. Who wrote that?
I did.
You wrote it, the whole thing?
The reason being is because I'm giving insight to parents to be involved in their kids, because, like I said before, the stuff that's on his brochure about, hey, this is what you need to look for, that's what, there's truth to that. But when they hear him saying that, they're not listening. They hear me say that to parents and say, hey, listen, you need to look for this, or get involved in your child's life, because within our program, when the kids come in there has to be involved with the parents or the guardians, because you're not just pulling your children off. We're just a mere tool in your handbag of tools to help you rear your child in the right way. Just like, getting an education at a school, this is just another medium to be able to help them.
Did you guys say you were raised in the same neighborhood?
He was from North Hammond. The neighborhood that he hung around in was the neighborhood I grew up in. So when you see the pictures of him underneath that overpass, that's the overpass I hung around under when I was a kid.
At a different
That just goes to show you how old the overpass is.
At a different point in time, right?
About the same time. I just dyed my hair gray.
So you caused trouble in his old neighborhood, is that what you're trying to say? Well,
just Hammond and all over the place, but that was particular where I did a lot of the trouble.
I would have liked to get into some of the issues about that. You always hear about the turf things, and that people say, well, gangs are pretty much isolated to the turf area. If you stay out of their turf, it really is not a big problem. Is that really true?
It just depends on what particular section. But a lot of times, they're always going back and forth. You know what I mean? Or you're taking ground and saying, well, here I'm coming to take that particular neighborhood. Or if they try to move in and say, well, we're setting up shop, well, that's not going to happen. So yeah, it's real big on their sections or their turf. And
People say a huge portion of the murders and violence in Gary is gang stuff. Is that true?
Well, gangs and drugs. I mean, the
Okay.
primary focus for street gangs is to move narcotic drugs. That's the primary focus for gangs. I mean,
That's
it's
how
a
you make- that's how you
multi-billion
make your
dollar
money?
industry.
Yeah, you make your money through that.
So anytime you got the drugs flowing, you're gonna have somebody wanting them stacks.
Fighting over the customers, the money, and the sales, huh?
Customers rip off the drug dealers sometimes. They'll try and pull away. They'll kill them right there as they're driving away. You don't have the money to pay for your stuff. You reach, and then the drug dealer makes a mistake of handing you the product first before he gets the money. Then he winds up shooting you as you try and pull away.
I don't know how you guys do this.